For this lesson, we're going to start estimating with fractions. And when we're estimating, we're actually just starting to look at what a number is about. So we're not actually looking at the exact number, but we're looking at an estimated or rounded portion of the number. So let's take a look at this example. I have 3 2/3 and plus 5 1/6. So I need to think, okay, if I had 3 2/3, what is that number about? Is the number closer to, it's obviously more than 3. So is it closer to 3 or is it closer to 4? 3 2/3 would actually round to 4. And then 5 1/6, well, is that 1/6 closer to 6 or is it closer to 5? And so we would round that to 5. And so when I have this, I have that this is about, and instead of using an equal sign, we use this kind of jagged equal sign. And so that just lets us know that the answer is about. So it's about 4 plus 5, and so our answer is about 9. So the sum of this is about 9. Let's take a look at this example. I have 6 2/5 times 1 7/8. Well, if I think about the fraction 2/5, is that closer to 0, so closer to 6, or is it closer to 1 so that I could round that 6 up to 7? And when I actually look at that number, it's closer to 6, so I'm going to keep that it's about 6. And then I'm going to look at 1 7/8. So is 7/8 closer to 0 so that the 1 would stay a 1? Or do I need to round that 7/8 closer to 1 so that way my 1 would round to a 2? Am I going to round up or am I going to stay the same for my whole number? And since 7/8 is so close to 1, I can actually just round that 1 up to 2 because it's greater than 1, so I have times 2. So this product of this is about 12. Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this example on your own. So 2 1/5, I need to think about that 1/5. Is that closer to 1 or 0? And so it's actually closer to 0, so my 2 is going to stay a 2. I'm not going to round that up. And then the 3 1/2, I'm actually closer because I'm in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and round that one up. So I'm going to round that to 4. So 2 1/5 plus 2 1/2 is about 6. Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this one on your own. So I'm going to look at 8 7/9, and 7/9 is closer to 1. And since it's closer to 1, that means that the 8 is going to round up to 9. And 2 3/4 is the 3/4 is closer to 1, so I'm going to round that 2 to 3. So 9 divided by 3 is about 3. So 8 7/9 divided by 2 3/4 is about 3. When we estimate with fractions instead of mixed numbers, I'm actually going to either round to 0, 1/2, or 1. And those are my 3 options to round to. And it becomes easier with just fractions instead of mixed numbers. So when I look at 1/8, I'm going to determine if it's closer to 0, 1/2, or 1, and it's actually closer to 0, so I'm going to make that 0. And then when I look at 2/3, that's actually closer to 1/2 than it is 1. So I'm going to make that 1/2. And so then my sum is about 1/2 because 0 plus 1/2 is 1/2. So 1/8 plus 2/3 is about 1/2. Same goes with this example. I'm either going to round to 1, 1/2, or to 0. 7/8 is closer to 1. So I have 1 minus. And 5/9 is actually closer to 1/2. So when I think of what is 1 minus a half, well, I'm just left with half. So my answer is about a half. Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this one on your own. We're still rounding to 0, 1/2, and 1. 3/5 is about a half, so we're going to round that there because it's closer. And 11/12 is closer to 1, so 1/2 times 1 is 1, so my answer is about 1. Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this one on our own, and we're still rounding to that 0, 1/2, and 1. And 1/7 is closer to 0, and 3/5 is closer to a half. So I'm going to get 1/2 is my answer, and it's actually about, so I have the squiggly equal sign.